No, I'm kidding. Hello. No, I'm good, thank you. Thank you all so much for being here, kings, queens, and royalty, brothers and sisters and siblings. Thank you. First, I think all of you should give yourselves a round of applause for being present. As Stefan said, for being open-minded, for being willing to learn. One of the things Haiku said earlier was we are here to celebrate, educate, and motivate.
Hello.
If you do not walk away from this space feeling more celebrated, feeling more educated, and feeling more motivated to make change in your community, then we did not do our job.
Hello.
So hold us accountable. Hold us accountable. As Stefan said, my name is Tisha Marie, and I'm the founder of Legally B.L.A.C.K.
Hello.
Legally B.L.A.C.K is an acronym. It stands for brave, lifted, altruistic, creative, and keen. It just so happens to spell black. Hello. Coincidence. I don't know. So when somebody says to me, well, why legally black? Why legally black? What if I'm not black? What if what Legally B.L.A.C.K is fighting for is not the same thing that I am personally fighting for or my organization is not fighting for? Let me tell you something. It does not matter what words you use to express your refusal to accept inequality as our norm. It does not matter what words you use. We are all fighting the same fight. We all want justice. We all want liberty. We all want freedom. We all want equality.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
So the reason I say Legally B.L.A.C.K is because we are doing something that takes real bravery. We are continuing to try to lift our community. We are doing it selflessly. That's what altruistic means. We're doing it in creative ways, and we're using our tenacity and skill, which is keen. So if you are brave, if you are lifting the community, if you are selfless, if you are creative, and you are keen, you are Legally B.L.A.C.K.
Yep.
That's what this is about. We were founded with the goal to help unify modern-day civil rights activists and grassroots organizations, not just across Pierce County, not just across Washington, but across the nation and hopefully abroad. We want to help bring change, and how we're doing that is changing the narrative of Black and brown people. We have to control the narrative that's placed on us by helping to educate people. One of the things that Stefan said is, come to all of these events with an open mind. And don't assume you know everything, and don't assume we know everything. We will do our absolute best to get as much knowledge on a particular topic as we absolutely can. But that does not mean we know everything. So if you have any knowledge that you would like to share, we are not against education, right? We want to learn more about you, about how we can help, about our community, about our government. There's so much more we can do together. And as Dakota said, and as Patricia said, and as Stefan said, and as Haiku said, we cannot do this alone.
Yep.
It is impossible to change the world when the world does not want change. So every single one of us needs to commit to this. Like he said, trans, gay, I'm a lesbian myself. So when I'm so much more than what I look like, right? So we want to make sure that we are all a part of this movement together. Somebody asked us, well, what can I do to help? What can I do to help change this world, to help change perspective? And as Stefan said, you have to talk. You cannot be afraid to have uncomfortable conversations. You have to be able to look somebody in the eye and say, listen, we can disagree. We can disagree, but I need you to understand so that your disagreement is valid. If you don't understand the problem, you can't disagree with it. If you don't understand the issues that we're facing, you can't disagree with it. And something I saw on Instagram and probably on Facebook, because that's how we all communicate right now, is racism should not be up for debate. It should not be debatable whether or not we end racism. As Stefan said earlier, we are not just fighting against police brutality, although that has the focus right now in light of recent events. And as I said before, a lot of this stuff is not new. The only thing that has changed is the advancement of technology, and now everybody is seeing what is going on worldwide. But as Black and brown people, we've known this our entire existence.
Yep.
As Dakota and Patricia said, this has been going on for 500 years, and we think our history starts with slavery, but it does not. It does not. This country was here way before Christopher Columbus showed up. Way before Christopher Columbus showed up. And there were people already here. This was their land they cared for, they loved, they nurtured, they respected, and they respected each other. And that is something that we should have adopted when this land was stolen, looted. I don't want to get into the graphics, but do your research, do your history. There's some kids here that might not know what these words mean, so I'm not going to scare you. But parents, do your job and teach them the true history of this country, and then maybe they will understand why you are here with them fighting today. It's very, very important that the only way we can make change is by acknowledging the truths that exist. We need to take into consideration the history of this country, the history of its people, the history of the founding fathers. A lot of people have said, well, you know, this land is free. All men are created equal. We have to think back to, when was this written? When was this written? In the 1700s, where black and brown people were seen as property and 3/5 human. So when they said all men, they were not talking about us, because we were not considered men. We were not considered people. So when Stefan says this systemic racism, it started then in the 1700s. And it wasn't until the 1970s when black and brown people really started owning property. I mean, there's a few, but until we really started owning property. So I think Tanisha, one of our members of Legally B.L.A.C.K, she posted something on our Facebook page and on her personal page, I believe. And it said, the years of slavery, the years of Jim Crow, and the years of police brutality. Slavery looks very different today. We're not in shackles, but we wear our shackles in different forms. I know you've probably heard it said before, but if you have darker skin, you're more likely to be followed around in a store because they don't think they can trust you. You're more likely to have somebody hold onto their purse a little tighter when you walk by, or if you're sitting on the bus, or if you're riding a subway, if you live in bigger cities. You're more likely to get pulled over and get a ticket or get arrested for something you did not do. You're more likely to get kicked out of the classroom for doing something you're not guilty of doing. There's so many inequalities just because of the color of our skin. This is not new, but it also shouldn't be something we settle for. So with that, I ask all of you to take a moment and ask yourself, what have I done? Have I ever done anything to make somebody with darker skin than me feel less than important? The truth is scary. You probably will shake your head yes, or you won't shake your head at all because you don't want anyone to know that you did it. I've done that, and I'm black. We are all guilty of this. All of us are guilty of this. I'm not proud, but what is important is that you acknowledge it. Like I said, you cannot make change until you acknowledge the problem. So be honest with yourself. What have you done to make someone who looks different than you, or thinks differently than you, or loves differently than you, or believes in something different from you? What have you done to make them feel less than? Check yourself and don't do it again.
Hello.
And what you can do is tell other people your experiences. You have to be able to, again, have those uncomfortable conversations. Tell somebody, hey, I know what I did 5, 10, 17 years ago, and I'm so sorry. I'm learning. Please do not judge me for my prior experiences or my prior judgment. I didn't know any better. I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm receiving this information, and I'm willing to take it and help you in this journey. If somebody changes their minds or changes their perspective, that does not make them a hypocrite. It means they've grown.
Yep.
It means they have grown. So if you have people in your family who don't agree with what you're doing right now, give them time, educate them, celebrate them and yourself, and continue to help motivate them. Everything that we do directly to one another and indirectly is going to affect change. So all of you parents out there, all of you older brothers and sisters and siblings, there's young people watching you. They're watching how you interact with other people. They're watching what you say and what you do, your mannerisms. And that is indirectly teaching them how to respond to people that look like the people you're acting like towards. Does that make sense? Yeah. I had a friend who has biracial babies, and she asked me, what can I do to make my daughter love her hair? She has hair just like yours. What can I do? And I said to her, stop straightening yours. It's simple like that. You have a little girl with crazy curly hair, but mommy always wants to straighten her hair. The little girl's gonna grow up thinking curly hair is ugly, because even mommy doesn't want her hair curly. So what we have to do, transition that into how we treat people of different colors and creeds and beliefs and genders and sexualities. Don't make people feel bad indirectly. Check yourself. Like I said, check yourself. How are you treating yourself and how are you treating other people? If you see two men kissing and you cringe and you walk away or you tell your kids not to look, guess what? What if your son or your daughter grows up to be gay? And they're terrified to tell you because one day when they were walking in the park when they were 6 years old, they remember you told them to look away. Shame on you. What if you have a daughter who is in love with a beautiful black man and she's terrified to tell you because when she was little, you told her not to trust them? Indirectly or directly. Now she's terrified, and now her new man is terrified to go to your house. Shame on you. You cannot force your beliefs on anyone. You should not force your beliefs on anyone. If you know someone who's transgender and you talk ill about them when they're not around, but then you're nice to them when they're in your face, are you really their friend? And are you really willing to change your perspective and learn more about them? Probably not. But don't give yourself credit. Don't do things for clout. Don't do things because it looks good, because it might get you likes on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever the hell we have right now. It's not about getting attention. It's about making change. One thing I've noticed throughout these last few weeks is that every event seems to get a little smaller and smaller. And some people might blame COVID. Now everybody's back to work. I think we are weeding out the people who are not ready to make this change. That's how I take it. I feel like if this is important to you, you will be here, virtually or physically. I understand that work takes precedence. You obviously have to make a living. You have to have money, support your family and friends. But I think it's good because I can look around right now and I can see that I have everyone's attention, not because I have a microphone in my hand, but because we're all like-minded. And I don't know if I could say that at every event, but I hope that is true. I really do. I hope that is true. So if you are here right now, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in wherever you're watching from. But as Stefan said, and as all of us will continue to say, this fight is not over. It won't be over until every single person in this world will be fine and happy being treated like a black person. If you cannot walk out of your house and say, I think today's going to be a great day for everyone in the world. This is going to be good. No one's going to get abused for having darker skin. No one's going to get paid in less than they deserve because they're female. No one's going to get treated less than because they're trans. No one's going to get talked down to because they're gay. No one's going to get talked down to for any reason. Then we've made some progress. We've made some progress when we can walk out the house and feel with confidence that every single person can walk out without feeling less than. It's going to take a long time. Be friendly, be kind, be willing to learn more, and don't be afraid to go up to somebody and say, hey, what does it feel like? I don't know. I don't know what it feels like to be you. What can I do where I could feel like, hey, listen, I'm a part of this movement with you. What can I do to help? I know that there's people on our board at We Are Legally Black who sometimes might not step forward because not everyone has to have a microphone to be a leader. You can be a leader in different ways. You don't have to stand and talk in front of a group of people to make change. You don't. Talk Talk to your friends, talk to your family, make different posts if you need to. Show up, read different books. Tell your kids different stories. Maybe you have a biracial daughter or son, or maybe you have somebody you adopted. Get them dolls that don't look like them. And make sure they know those dolls are beautiful too. Get them dolls that also look like them, and make sure they know those dolls are beautiful too. It's really important that we make sure our younger children, this younger generation, understands that it does not matter what you look like, how you love, what you identify as, who you want to be when you grow up. Those things don't matter. They should not matter when it comes to your life. You are worthy no matter what you look like. You are worthy no matter who you love. You are worthy no matter what you believe in. You are worthy. No child should live in fear. Immigrant or citizen, no child should live in fear. I get it that as a parent, it's very difficult to have these conversations with your kid because maybe you don't know if they quite understand, but don't underestimate your children. Don't underestimate them. Children are brilliant. They have a unique perspective on life, and they're sponges. They are absorbing everything in life right now, and it is up to them how they're going to distribute it back out. And if you raise them right, they will do the right thing. So I guess if I keep talking on this microphone, I might put you to sleep.
I'll start roasting.
Yeah. I could do a little lullaby, but I won't. I'm not that great of a singer. But one thing that I do want to leave you with is with Legally B.L.A.C.K, and you can follow us on Instagram, we are Legally B.L.A.C_, or on Facebook, we are Legally B.L.A.C. You can go to our website, wearelegallyblack.com, and learn more about the initiatives that we're fighting for. Like Stefan said, and like all of us said, police brutality is not the only thing. We want to fight for equality in equal pay, in housing, in education, in healthcare. Everything that there is not equality in, we need to make change. Now, the one thing I will say right now is you need to go to this tent and register to vote, because who we put in office is going to help make these changes. You might not think your vote matters, but let me tell you something. Your vote definitely matters, because when we have more people in office who believe in what we believe, we will get change happening. But we need to have people who are bold, who are unapologetic, who will stand up in front of people and say, hey, listen, this needs to be addressed. This needs to change. Who is responsible for this rule that has not been changed yet? Until we have somebody who's willing to do that, I don't know how long it's going to take for those changes, but guess what? We have people who are running right now who are fully capable of making that happen, and you have to vote for them. The only way we're going to make that change is if you vote for them. So please do not be shy. Go right over to this tent, register to vote, make your change any way you possibly can. Again, everyone asking, how can I help? Vote. Vote. We know who's president right now. Vote. But it starts with our local government. Local, state, federal, but we need to make change where we can, and your power right here, right now, is with your local government. So please, please, please do not be shy. Get off your butts and vote. My name is Tisha Marie, and I just want to thank you so much for listening, dealing with me, and hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Take care and enjoy the dance.